This is the 202nd episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the third and pretty much last for everybody listening week of December 2014. This episode is titled Holiday Cheer. CloudFocus Weekly is brought to you by Clone This User. Clone an existing Salesforce user with a click of a button via the desktop or in Salesforce One Mobile. Available for free on the IdeaExchange, or go to clonethisuser.com, which will bring you to the IdeaExchange. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me, the cheeriest of all cheermeisters, Justin Cheerleader Edelstein. Cheeringo. How are you?
I don't even know how to respond to that introduction.
Cheeringly?
Do you like my hat?
You are wearing the Salesforce Success Community Zone hat.
This is Dreamforce 13. I guess you'd call this a fedora. I call it a Heisenberg.
It's more of a Heisenberg, but it is a fedora. It's a felt fedora.
Yeah.
It's special.
I wore it for this episode.
It's special, as I like to say.
It's cheery.
Not really cheery.
It is cheery. Cheerio.
I'm in a
Isn't that what they say?
Jacket.
Isn't that what the people say? You're not wearing a jacket. Why would you even say I'm in a jacket?
I'm wearing a jacket today. I had to wear a jacket today.
Like, I wore this all day. I'm wearing it for this
No,
episode.
you wore this other bad-looking hat.
This is a great-looking hat.
No, that hat
you
is...
have no style.
I
literally have zero style.
That's
the thing.
Yeah, says the man in the ruffling.
That's right. Look at this shirt. This shirt's awesome.
And your Ween shirt.
That's right.
And a Success Community hat.
Niche New York.
I should tweet this out
For
right now.
anyone who knows the I Boob Niche New York shirt, tweet that at me. Much respect.
Wow, that's not going to happen.
All
right, we have things that are going to happen today. We have an agenda. If my computer doesn't crash in the middle of it.
Your computer might just
and then there'll be no podcast.
And you guys will never know.
You'll never know if there was a podcast or not. But so far, so good. I've been having issues.
The lost episode.
Luckily, the computer crashed last week in the second episode, which for this listening audience doesn't matter at all. But it happened. So we're talking about our blog post of the week. We'll talk about the Bittorrent Browser. We'll talk about Salesforce Files Connect. We have stuff that's going to talk about next time, and we'll finish off with some CloudFocus app pick of the week and some holiday cheer. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know. You wrote it.
I think I'm going to sing.
We're going to make you sing.
I'm trying to think of a non-denominational song.
Sing a Ween song.
That's fine. But first, I'd like to remind you, if you are listening to this podcast and you're not seeing it in one of your feeds, resubscribe. So go to whatever you're using. I don't care if Downcast, Instacast, Recast,
iTunes,
Ficast,
podcasts, whatever.
iTunes should have worked.
Still,
resubscribe.
Anyway,
we're on episode 202 now. If you only see 197 and somehow you're listening to this,
you know what's funny
resubscribe.
is I haven't done it, so I'm stuck on 197 in my reader.
I'm not. I am up to date.
Which is dumb. Because I download and I sometimes listen. I just want to make sure it works.
Yeah.
And clearly, right now, it's not working for me.
No, it's not.
Dumb.
So the blog post of the week to end up the year. Actually, we have two more for the year, which we will talk about next year.
We will.
One is going to be on Trailhead.
Yes, Trailhead.
Trailhead, not Trailhead. Trailhead.
Yes.
And the second is going to be the fantastic, written a couple weeks ago, yearly, 5th year in a row,
bringing it back.
Cloud computing predictions for 2015.
Yep.
So that will be up there. So all these at blog.arkusinc.com. But this week, it was ideas delivered in Salesforce releases.
Yeah.
As one of the partners who shall remain not named, I guess, or name anonymous, said to me, "Really? Another Winter 15 blog post?"
You know, it's kind of funny. This wasn't really meant to be like a Winter 15 blog post, especially with spring right around the corner, but it just so happened that, you know, we wanted to pay some love to ideas that were delivered in general terms, Salesforce releases, but So we wanted to write a little bit about that, and then winter happens to be the last release. So it was, well, let's just throw the ones that were done in winter.
And there's some updates to the IdeaExchange, and
That's part of why we wanted to write it. Because
I love that when you say we, like there's more than one person who wants to do anything.
We Arkus.
Oh, we Arkus.
The royal we.
You know, when you say it doesn't sound bad. We Arkus.
We Arkus.
It almost sounds like we are Kiss. The group?
It's gone silent.
Anyway, so this one, so talking about sort of the IdeaExchange, you know, there's been some updates. There are a list of whole bunch ones, including one that I put in there, which has 40. I love it as 40 points, and it got delivered. So
got
clearly,
delivered. Did you get your badge in the community? I got a badge.
So why don't you explain what that is to the listening audience?
Yeah, so in the success community, which is where Ideas lives, success.salesforce.com, where you can single sign in using your Salesforce username and password. There is the the notion of work.com in there with thanks. So there's obviously chatter in that community, and within there's a recognition tab on your profile. And when you submit an idea that gets released, you will get a badge, like an innovator badge. It's like a Moon Man type of thing. I have one. It's very cool. Yes. Very proud of my badge. I think I have 3 ideas that I've submitted that are now in the product, which is pretty cool.
2, maybe.
Although I only have 1 badge. So anyway, badges, cool. And that's one of the things that we mentioned in the post, idea innovator badges. So that's pretty cool.
And the other thing that's happened is that they now have, there's 2 things that they're trying to do in the IdeaExchange. One is get the categories of ideas, sort of like get it so it's a little bit less. You have to pick from 500 million things, which is good.
Fewer categories.
But they're also now talking about where the ideas are sort of in different categories, right? Or they're sort of where they are in the system, right? Under point threshold, which says, hey, this idea, sorry, we're not going to touch this until it gets over a certain point. Do we know what that is? Is it 1,000? 2,000?
I don't know the thresholds.
Okay, well, it's a threshold.
It's a threshold,
and then like one. Then it goes.
Imagine it's somewhat arbitrary. Like if it's a brilliant idea, and it really just needs to happen, like yours, your 40-point idea.
Yeah,
that didn't. I'm sure it was under the threshold, but it still made it into the product. Because sometimes they're ahead of you on this stuff.
Right.
They're already working on it. And
right.
Someone just throws it on the IdeaExchange, and then boom, it's released.
Right. That's the best kind of ideas.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of partially delivered. I don't know, whatever. It's not exactly what I wanted.
Not precisely what you wanted, but close enough.
And then they have things like product team review. That means, hey, someone is taking a look at this.
Right.
And might do something with it.
Maybe.
And recently there's been a lot of activity. Now, one of the things that they like to do is to have the product team once or somebody within Salesforce come in and put a comment on it telling you, hey, we're doing something with this.
Yeah. I like how they're stick.
I've seen a couple new ones the other day. I could name off a few if you want to talk about some fun ones. One was Data Loader for Mac support.
Really? So no more Lexi Loader?
That one got a... Well, I think Lexi Loader is just going to be moved in, but that one got a... We're actually considering or under consideration.
Should be.
What else was the other one? There was another one that was fun. What was this? Oh, yeah. Data Loader for Mac Ideas, Success Community. It moved to a... Let's see, where is it now?
I think you prepared really well for this.
On roadmap.
Ooh.
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 Ooh. See, it's so good. Ability to set accounts and contacts as inactive.
Oh, that's nice.
Is now under consideration.
That's an interesting concept to be on platform.
Here's another one.
Go on.
Because I was tweeting all these.
Go on.
Optionally notify notification when meeting invitees decline calendar events. Product team review.
That would be good.
Get
that in there, please.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a bunch that have been sort of,
I'll just make calendar invites good.
It'll make, we have that because we built something for it.
How about just make them easier for people to accept?
Yeah. At that point, I want that better than I want this, but maybe that's what they're working on.
Make it work.
So that is all the stuff. Now there's a list of all the ideas. You can go in and see them. I don't know. Mine's pretty good, but let's see. Restrict visibility of chatter by profile.
That was a pretty big idea.
Make permission sets available to delegated admins without the permissioner. Forecast on custom fields. So some cool stuff that were delivered.
Yeah.
I think it's something. Sometimes I get a little testy with the old Salesforce and what some of their practices. The IdeaExchange is always a little moment of love.
Always.
Because I do think they take it seriously, and I do think that they actually deliver on this stuff.
Yeah. Top 10 reasons to be thankful for Salesforce for this year.
Al Gore.
Al Gore and the IdeaExchange. So they're a partner that shall remain nameless.
Please do better, Blogmaster. Do better. Do better in 2015.
Come on.
Am I talking about you?
You are.
Oh, yeah.
I'm walking right into the spring 15 storm though. So I've got
at least 40
at least
16
blog posts ready to roll.
Speaking of blog posts,
yeah.
How about one saying Bittorrent launches new Maelstrom browser with a view to changing the way the web works?
I don't understand this for the life of me. It doesn't make any sense. Changing the way the web works.
So
talk
awesome.
about like a very, very definitive statement of exactly what you're planning on doing and democratizing and taking the web back. It's taking the web back. It's not just for large corporations anymore.
So they don't actually give you a lot of they don't give you a lot of what it's going to do, but let's talk about what Bittorrent is. So Bittorrent is a distributed network for file sharing, right? Sometimes considered for file sharing of things that are not supposed to be shared, but let's take that away from the conversation. So I think what this could be interesting is that what they're kind of saying is if you had a browser that kind of could connect and distribute content and things on the internet sort of built into your browsing experience, that it takes away from the having things controlled at certain endpoints and brings it to controlled into everybody's browser. What that means from a web/video/audio/ whatever aspect, I'm not sure I kind of have a full understanding of. But I love browsers. And if you're going to start a new browser and you're going to make it fun and interesting, I'm all in. I'm in on new browsers.
You got them.
You got me on new browsers. I've tried, 30, 40 different browsers. That's why I like browsers. I like it when people are pushing the space, like saying, we're going to try to do something different in a browser.
The comments in this blog post are more informative than the actual blog post, right?
In which one? The blog post on Bittorrent?
On thenextweb.com.
Okay. So then read me
I'm just
some
actually
comments.
learning like what they're actually, because someone commented like, what does this even mean? Why are you even, who cares? And they're talking about how the actual, the web page request goes through the ISP, through all the different hops to get to the server to come back to you.
That's correct.
And instead of actually going through all those hops, sort of just hop to somebody else who's on the browser and come back to you, and skipping all those things in the middle, which can serve you ads and all that other nonsense.
Right.
And block content potentially. Things like that.
So basically everybody, and I'm really oversimplifying, but everybody becomes an internet web server.
Right.
So if you're browsing something and I go to browse the same thing, it sees us on the same network. It could grab the data from you, not from the original web server.
Right. Skipping all the things in the middle.
So as a webmaster from way back in the day, that means I don't see you browse my website.
No, I don't think you would.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, from a making content and keeping things free and
don't
cool.
Don't you dare set a cookie on my browser.
You're setting a cookie on me.
I'm the cookie monster.
You don't even know what that means. Anyway, I just thought it was too cool not to mention. I'll be following this. I signed up for the alpha.
Good for you.
If it comes, it'll be great. I think the thing with browsers is, and they're sticky. They're like banks when you have online banking. They're sticky. Once you get to like a browser, it's kind of tough to get you off to another browser.
Not me.
Really?
Well, I use 3.
Yeah, but if a new one came out, would you just start using it immediately? No.
I would. No, I mean, at this point, Chrome if I were to get a brand new computer tomorrow and I didn't like port everything from the setup of this current computer to the new one, I would definitely, and it would be a Mac, so I'd have Safari, and I would definitely download Chrome, and I probably wouldn't bother with Firefox, and those would be my two browsers.
Yeah. Right, but I'm saying that's not the question, by the way.
The
question was if a new browser came out tomorrow.
No.
Unless it offers something unique.
Super unique.
Speed.
But again, it was like, I don't know, it was tabs. It was like, oh, get me off IE, I need tabs.
Right. Now tabs are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even find a very big difference when I jump between, speed now has become, I don't know, they're all pretty darn fast.
They're all fast. I don't even feel like that's the browser.
But sometimes, well, it is the browser.
Yeah, but I don't really feel
the Java engine and all that, the JavaScript engine. Sometimes one or another browser will like hit a blip and like their new release will not work with something I work with a lot, and then that'll kind of push me in one direction or not. Other than that, I just use browsers as sort of division of labor. I use my Chrome for Arkus and Arkus only, and I use Safari for everything else. And then I use Firefox when something in Safari is not working, which is very rare.
I think I'm the opposite of you, but yes, that way.
Project Maelstrom, that's what it's called. Interesting. I mean, again, Bittorrent is sort of known for shaking things up a little bit. I'm not a big Bittorrent friend. I have a friend of mine who like literally is like, oh yeah, any book you want, any movie, any whatever.
I've never done it. I literally can say I've never even done. I don't even know how to even say I've never done it. Like, I've never done a BitTorrent.
You never
used
bitted. You never
torrented. I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah. I have.
So not my thing.
I think I played around with it back in the day, like a long time ago.
Yeah, probably when it was like for super geeks and you had to like figure it out.
I don't feel like I've ever consumed anything. I feel like I would try and then it would take too long, or then I'd see 1,000 connections coming in at me, or
16 applications to open up a file to put something together.
My understanding is it's very easy, and not to get on the high horse, but
get off your high horse.
I also feel like for stuff that I'm gonna consume, I'm gonna pay for it. And
you get off your high horse.
I was talking to someone the other day about rent books from the library. You can get digital books from the library. So you literally get a digital library account, and then from your local library, and then they have so many digital books. So let's say they have like Stephen King's new book. They have like 5 copies of it digitally, and then you put it in your list, and then when it comes available, you then can download it, put it in your reader, read it for 21 days, and then you have to give it back like a real book.
Like a real library.
In some ways, it's cool. You can get free books via digitally. You don't actually have to go to the library.
Yeah, why do they only have 5 copies?
Because that's the license. Because otherwise...
That's just ridiculous.
Well, that's sort of the interesting piece of it, is that you have 5 copies of the book, just like a library would have 5 copies. So in some ways it's cool because it's definitely going towards a new world, right, of digital content.
In some ways it's still backwards.
But in some ways it's so crazy and backwards. Anyway, I was talking to this person about it, who does not listen to this podcast, and he was like, oh, why would you... I haven't paid for a book in the longest time because I use this. And part of me is like, well, I'm a little old school in that I like going onto a Kindle now and seeing all my books, kind of like going to my digital shelf. I like that. I like seeing all the covers and all the books I've read and haven't read, and mostly haven't read. So I'm kind of there. And actually, just now we're rat-holing. Amazon,
you're rat-holing.
I'm always rat-holing. Amazon just released a new feature of their Kindle, which allows you to share with a family member, just like iTunes has. That share. So my wife is a massive book reader.
I know.
And consumes and buys all her books on Kindle. So I've kind of been waiting for this. I went in, I got my Kindle to connect to her Kindle, and it's a little... You basically have to hand your Kindle to the other person so they pump in their information. So I guess that works. Anyway, I then go into her collection. 498 books. So it's like I got my own little mini library I can now go into at any time and grab any book. I don't need another library. And at the $7.99, that's in the I don't really care.
That's how much a book costs on Amazon
for a Kindle.
Yeah,
it's $7.99, $9.99. Like brand new releases are in the $13.99.
That's pretty cheap, isn't it? Like, what are the iBook store? Doesn't that cost
same thing?
More?
No, they all cost the same.
See, I know so little.
Yeah, well, you don't read. All right, so that's the idea. So let's move on to our next topic of Salesforce Files Connect. This article on TechCrunch. This is one of these fluff pieces, but
I'm not even really ready to talk about this.
Well, then I'll talk about it by myself.
I just feel like it's not
real.
These announcements happen all the time.
Yeah.
Where there's like the new partnership, integration, product thing.
Safe harbor.
Until this is real and people are really using it, this to me is not a thing. Sorry, guys.
Well, so
anyway, an article on TechCrunch. That's cool.
The article is that Salesforce has announced that they were going to. I think the interesting piece is that they're kind of not going to build their own. They're going to make it connect with other stuff. So I like this part of it. In the article, it says, in English, so that means that if you store your digital goods or on other services, but use them inside of Salesforce's various tools, you have a far simpler way to do so with this new Files Connect. They're going to do SharePoint first and OneDrive, and then Google Drive, which we're huge users of, as next. So what does this mean? I feel like this means that the world between Google Drive and Salesforce is going to get tighter and better and searchier and connectier, and to me, that's awesome. Because right now, they're very, very separate. It's literally a link from one thing to another thing. Having them work together in a kind of collaborative way, I like it. What that means, I don't know. But I like it.
You don't even know what it means. But
no, I like it. Google Drive, you say just Google Drive and Salesforce, and I'm happy.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. We're up to our holiday cheer part of the conversation.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Do we have time
for
a quick question?
Yeah. I think we're 22 minutes in. And the computer hasn't crashed yet.
That's good. Have you taken part in this podcast phenomenon, the Serial podcast?
Nope. I've heard about it through your wife.
Yes.
The little lady.
She was just finishing it yesterday.
And?
The last episode came out, I guess, this week.
And?
Well, I listened to the first one.
And?
Well, I don't know how it ends.
And then?
And then, I think it's rather brilliant.
And then?
All right, I'm done.
No. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
So, explain to me if I didn't know.
Nope, you ruined the whole thing.
And then?
Keep going.
What is it? Explain it. People love our banter.
You know what they like?
And then? Tell me what it is. I really want to know.
You don't.
I do. I'd like to know why the first episode, because you're a big podcast listener anyway.
I am.
You listen to, I think, a bunch of sports podcasts. You subscribe to your own podcast.
I do.
And
sad.
That's it.
Sad but true.
So it's basically ESPN and your two.
No. Yes.
Yes.
So this is from the folks at This American Life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Serial. And it's
spelled like a series of things?
Like a series of things.
Or like the thing to eat?
No, a series of things.
Okay, just
because
for people
that's what it is. It's a series.
Okay.
It's like
that'd be cool. They're calling it Serial and spelling it CYRLT.
No, once a week, a new episode comes out, and it's an investigative reporter.
Okay.
Working back on a crime. A real one.
I'm liking this.
As I understand it, it's all real.
It's all real.
And she's basically doing her investigation as, like, she's piecing everything together as a podcast. So, like, she's interviewing people. She's reading, like, pieces of, what do you call it? Like, clues and whatnot, like information. She's reading it and she's piecing it together as a story. So it's kind of like taking like a real life crime and turning it into a.
You should have made this your pick of the week.
It's a podcast. It's not a pick.
Why not? Why isn't a podcast a pick?
Podcasts aren't picks. They're
podcasts are picks. CloudFocus
app pick of the
pick
week.
of the week.
Right. Anyway, I think it's rather interesting to do a podcast this way. Little behind the scenes into like a real investigative reporter's world, and she did it for like a specifically it's like made really well done, well produced. And I plan on listening to the rest of them. A lot of them over vacation while laying on the beach, and I'm just going to download the whole thing now that it's done so I can just listen to them all the way through, because people have been like, listening to them one a week and like waiting till next week, almost like a TV show where it's like a podcast that has like, to me, podcasts are very singular. It's like one episode and done.
Well,
and
you can listen 202, the best episodes you ever listened to.
Yeah, but you can hop into this whenever you want. You didn't miss anything last week, and if you miss this week, you're not going to miss it. You just listen to next week. Like, there's nothing, there's no facts that you're losing here. This isn't a HBO drama where if you can't start season 1, episode 1, you don't want to hop in season 3, episode 4. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know of another podcast like that. Maybe there are some. There probably are. But this seems to have risen to popularity. It's like maybe right place, right time type of situation. But I find it rather interesting that they've created a serialized podcast. Hence the name, Serial. I'm sure it also has to do with the crime that she's solving. Or trying to solve. I don't know if she solves it. I have no idea. She just... The first episode is like really just laying it out.
So 2,402 ratings on iTunes.
That is a ton.
Yeah.
And it's new.
Yeah, well,
it's 13 weeks old.
Yeah,
it's
that's
new.
True. That's pretty good. I literally, as we spoke, I queued it up, and I now have 12 downloading into my Downcast. So,
yeah. I'm going to download them all. And
how long are they each one? 55
an
minutes?
Hour.
Yeah.
It's like an hour show
to me,
once
it's like,
a week.
I mean, it's a cool new use of podcasts, kind of, but isn't this radio shows since the dawn of time? Like,
I think in the dawn of time, radio shows were like that, and then they changed. Radio shows aren't like that anymore.
No, but they were.
Right. I think it's cool that we get to go back to the way that a medium, like a new medium, went back to the way that the medium it was modeled after used to be in its golden age. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, I'm a huge fan of podcasts. Obviously, I'll tell you the medium I use it for is Meet the Press. So Meet the Press is a television show that comes on Sunday.
Right.
I don't
it's
watch
not
anything.
A serialized show.
I don't watch anything, but it's video.
I understand video.
Like the point
whatever.
is, I use my podcast app as a DVR because there's a show that I like to watch that I don't watch on Sunday because football's on Sunday. So, and I don't know, no one else in the family wants to watch Meet the Press. So I literally subscribe to this channel. It comes down, whatever, Sunday afternoon. Monday through Friday, I go to the gym and I watch Meet the Press. I mean, is it any different than like Hulu or whatever? I mean, I guess the freeness of it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Free, no commercials, if you're going to compare it to Hulu.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix would never have Meet the Press. I shouldn't say never.
Never. That's right. Don't say never. I mean,
wouldn't.
These places are all going toward having their own series. Amazon's going to having their own series.
I like the Amazon model of the way that they do it, too. You wouldn't like it.
Because one at a time.
Well, they throw the pilot out there.
Yeah,
and then you sort of like vote on it or whatever.
That's fine, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Nope. I got so many shows to catch up on. I'm going to make that your cloud pick of the week.
All right, that's my pick of the week.
So then I'm going to make a podcast.
You're going to remove this pick I have here.
Yes, you're going to just move it to the next one.
Okay.
You can make it next year. I think it's cool. Pick. I actually said once in a while we should do books
there you go.
or things
Serial.
like that. Serial.
Done.
So I'll make a podcast pick as well.
Okay.
Not Meet the Press.
Okay.
So as you very well know, and others know. Oh, the other one the podcast I subscribe to, so I'm making triple picks here. The other podcast I subscribe to is Apple Keynotes. So whenever there's an Apple Keynote...
I always watch those on podcasts.
Yeah, because it comes down in HD.
It's hard to watch them when they're on. They're always in the middle of the day here.
Right. So I like
to watch those on my Apple TV, though.
So while I do have a lot of podcasts, including Button Click Admin and some other and a lot of fancy ones, I listen to a lot of fancy. I'm not going to pick any of those. The one I am going to pick is an interesting one. So this is a podcast called the GTD Virtual Study Group. I don't listen to this always, but once in a while when I'm feeling
Like when you want to
GTD-esque.
fall asleep.
No, I actually put on you when I want to fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
But then I listen to me and I get all, like, ooh, he's interesting. Then I hear you and I get sleepy.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. So this one is actually it's a virtual study group, which I'm sure a lot of people know. That means, you meet. Now, they have a call-in. They all call in and sort of like a conference call. But then, of course, they record it, and then they make that recording available as a podcast. So it's like now you're making like a lot of things. So it's a study group, and it's interesting. Now, again, I'm a GTD guy, and I like to consume the content. So usually I'm feeling like there's no content for me to consume. I go and listen to this one, and they'll take a topic, which is nice. They'll say, today we're going to cover blah. They'll get on, and then they'll, I guess, I've never actually been in a study group since college, I guess. But so, they get on and they all kind of give their opinion. Some people say, here's what I do, and here's some stuff. So some people can, I guess the part is you hear some people and you're like, yeah, you're totally off base. What are you doing? Then you hear another person say, oh, that, they'll give a really good, theory on something. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Anyway, there have been they have like different topics. So like, I'm just going back, reading off some of the podcasts they've done before, developing your higher horizons, the weekly review, context, reference material, inbox zero. So they kind of covered these big ones. The one they have this month, that's interesting, is the year in review. Like, oh, cool. I kind of want to listen to that. How do people handle their year? I know the partner that does not be named has a massive GTD yearly thing that he goes through. It's like a 500 checklists.
It must be the worst thing ever.
He loves it. It's
it
his favorite time of the year.
So painful.
It's literally his favorite time of the year is to go through his yearly review.
Oh, shoot me. In the middle, there's probably little tasks like take a breath.
Jump up and down and scream like a monkey.
Go get a glass of water. You're reviewing your whole year. Go
get a glass of water.
Go get a glass.
You're trying to stay PG. I know you are.
Oh, I really am.
All right. So cool. Those are our picks. I'm gonna move my pick out. I'm gonna put GTD Virtual Study Group. Also, if you like us not just doing apps and doing like books, although he doesn't read,
I'll do TV shows,
or again,
I'm full of TV shows.
Yes, you are.
I'm so good at that.
Yeah, it's terrible. Then let us know, and you can let us know on Twitter at Just Edelstein, at Jason Atwood, at Arkus Inc., Facebook.com/Arkus Inc. You can leave it in a review up there. Success Community Group, LinkedIn, Google+. You can subscribe. I hope we have 2,400 reviews on iTunes. You can also review and subscribe on iTunes or in Stitcher. I'm seeing a lot of people on Stitcher, which is good. We have some neat things coming up for next year, some new plans for the podcast, some new fun things that we're going to be doing. And next time, we've heard that the first set of Spring 15 release notes will be released on Monday. So this is recording this on Friday. So next time in the new year, we'll talk about some Spring 15. Seems like the spring is already on us. It's amazing. Until then, thank you for listening for the year, for 2014. We will see you in 2015. Have a great holiday. Justin and Jason saying, enjoy those cloudy days.